Greetings, my dear friends. Welcome to Ra's Storytime. I, Ra, the Egyptian sun god, will share with you a tale called Horus's Epic Battle to Avenge Osiris, the Egyptian myth of justice and divine kingship, a story from the mighty Egyptian legends that teaches us courage and cleverness. Let's dive into the world of gods and heroes. In the earliest days, beneath the shining vault of the heavens, the land of Egypt lay quiet and rich by the life-giving Nile. I watched from my sunboat high above, but what unfolded below was not always peace. For once, Osiris ruled Egypt with a gentle hand, bringing order, prosperity, and light. His sister wife Isis stood by him, wise and compassionate, loved by both gods and mortals. But shadows crept where light shined so brightly. Set, brother of Osiris, bore a heart heavy with jealousy. His voice rumbled like thunder and his eyes flashed with red anger, for he craved the crown for himself. One night, Set set his cruel plan in motion. The air was thick with secrets. Dark winds rattled the palm. Trees and the stars hid behind clouds. In a hall bright with flickering torchlight, Set tricked Osiris with a beautiful chest, promising it as a gift to whoever fit perfectly inside. Trusting, Osiris lay within the chest. Suddenly Set and his followers slammed it shut, sealing it with heavy lead. The chest, with Osiris imprisoned inside, was cast into the Nile. Waters churned as the box floated far, vanishing into the green, reed-filled marshes. Egypt mourned. The fields wilted, fish vanished from the river, and the people grew fearful. Isis's heart ached with endless sorrow, but she would not rest. She searched every corner of the world, clothed in grief yet fierce with purpose. Her footsteps were silent through the marshes and her prayers whispered through the night, calling upon magic and wisdom. Finally, by the banks where papyrus grew tall, she found her beloved Osiris. Tenderly, she gathered his remains, hiding them with spells as powerful as the Nile's current. But Set was relentless. With a roar that echoed across sand dunes, he found the hidden body and tore it to pieces, scattering them far and wide. Still, Isis's resolve blazed brighter than despair. With her loyal sister Nephthys and the cunning jackal-headed Anubis at her side, Isis searched again, over deserts, through shadows, guided by starlight and the breath of my own rays. Piece by piece, they gathered Osiris, and with careful hands and magic words older than memory, Isis and Anubis wrapped him in linen, giving birth to the first mummy. So Osiris passed into the realm below, no longer king of the living, but king of the afterlife, guardian of souls. Seated in eternal judgment. In the hush that followed, under the silent gaze of the stars, Isis gave birth to Horus, a child born of hope, hidden in the reeds, guarded by scorpions and the moon herself. I, Ra, watched over him each day, guiding my sun ray to warm his brow and ward away Set's cruel eyes. Isis raised Horus to be wise, brave, and just, for a day would come when he must face Set, to avenge his father and restore Ma'a, the order of the world. And so, Horus grew, straight and tall as a papyrus stalk, with eyes bright as the desert sun. Part 2 will continue the saga, where Horus rises to confront Set in fierce battle for the fate of Egypt. The time came when Horus was ready, his heart steady like the steady flow of the Nile, his spirit fierce as the desert storm. From the moment he stepped into the light, his every movement carried the strength of his father's justice and his mother's love. The skies above Egypt darkened as the gods watched, the earth itself seemed to hold its breath. The great battle between Horus and Set would decide the fate of the land, for the rightful rule of Egypt must be restored. Their clash began beside the sacred temple, where the river curved like a silver serpent through golden sands. Set appeared, towering with rage, his red eyes burning like a wildfire under a stormy sky. He was a force of chaos, wild winds, shifting sands, and the fury of the storm, while Horus was calm and resolute, a powerful falcon soaring with the grace of the heavens. Their battle raged like thunder, their voices echoing across the fields and pyramids, shaking the very foundations of the earth. At times, Horus would dive and strike with talons sharp as the desert hawk's beak, while Set would counter with violent tempests and the crush of his mighty strength. Lightning flashed, and the sun hid behind thick clouds. The land itself trembled, Reeds bowed, and waters roared in discord. Even I, who voyage daily across the sky in my blazing sun bark, paused in my journey to watch this great duel unfold. Neither would yield. Horus fought not only to reclaim his father's throne, but to bring balance back to Egypt, to restore Ma'at, the divine order that Set's chaos had shattered. The gods gathered in the cosmic realm, their eyes filled with concern and hope, for all creation depended on this conflict's end. Isis stood by her son, her heart steady though heavy, her prayers weaving through the divine winds like golden threads. After many battles, Horus and Set sought the judgment of the great council of gods. Seated in the majestic hall of truth, silent but watchful, the gods listened to Horus's claim and Set's fierce rebuttal. They debated the rights of kingship, the laws of heaven and earth. For a time, judgment seemed impossible, as both sons of Geb and Nut, the earth and the sky, held power and will. But wisdom spoke. The true king is one who maintains harmony and life. Osiris, though fallen, had shown the way of order and care. Horus, as his son, embodied that promise and the future of Egypt. With the gods' decree, Set was cast down, forced to wander the deserts and storms, while Horus was crowned king by a radiant crown that shone with the glory of the morning sun. The Nile flowed sweet and steady once more, crops flourished, and peace returned to the land. Horus took his place on the throne of Egypt, a ruler who held justice in his eyes and courage in his heart. He understood well the lessons of his struggles, that power must be used to protect, to nurture, and to honor the balance of life itself. Through his story, the eternal message rings clear: justice and rightful rule must triumph over chaos and selfish desire. The cosmos itself depends on this fragile harmony. I hope you enjoyed this story about Horus's epic battle to avenge Osiris, the Egyptian myth of justice and divine kingship. The lesson we learned today is that true strength comes from courage, wisdom, and the will to restore balance and justice. Remember to carry this wisdom with you, and be courageous and clever every day. Join me again soon for more tales from the Egyptian legends. Till I see you again, farewell, my dear friends. If this episode brought you joy, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon next to the subscribe button. Subscribing means you won't miss any future stories, and it truly helps me keep bringing these legends to life. Don't forget to share your thoughts about this tale in the comments. It really helps us keep creating more wonderful stories.